Hi there, Sarah from Standing Up to Scoliosis and the Scolio Temple. I just want to talk today about COVID and long COVID with scoliosis. So I haven't spoke or met everyone with scoliosis or as many people as I could have done to find out how common it is in the population. But I certainly have met 2 people I know with scoliosis who have caught COVID really bad and have long COVID. And I also have another friend with a mild scoliosis who is having cervical instability in her neck. So she hasn't really said whether she had COVID or not. I don't think she tested or really knows, but she has had spinal issues, especially in her neck, because she had a car accident when she was younger for a long time. But they have got significantly worse, and she now has a trapped nerve in her neck. So that's 3 people I can think of. And there was a 4th one who has a really minor curve who said she caught COVID really bad. And she was like, this is not mild cold. But I think she's having, she has some adrenal issues. So there is quite a few with scoliosis that I know, and including myself, who, it wasn't really a pleasant ride having COVID. And I didn't even test positive for it, but I just know that I've had it. Like all the symptoms you hear about, I didn't have all of them, but I had the brain fog in particular, and some neurological pressure down my spine was what bothered me the most. And I did have a lot, because I get mild asthma, some phlegm, on my chest that just wouldn't go away, a lot more than usual. So I want to talk about it from any science that I know, or webinars that I've, researched, and webinars I've been watching from therapists' experience, working with people with long COVID and scoliosis. So we all know that long COVID affects people worse who've had past trauma and injury and already had pre-existing health conditions. But what type of health conditions? Because lots of people have some sort of health issue, but some people are affected a lot worse than others. Why? It's not just about how much shit you've been through in the past. There's clearly more to it than that is really affecting the biomechanics of the breathing and getting into the nervous system, because obviously the breathing comes from the nerves in the neck, and there's some other nerves that go into the diaphragm, linked with the vagal nerve. And so there is a neurological aspect and a biochemical aspect to breathing. If you have a lot of inflammation in your body, which a lot of people with scoliosis can do, that can send your body into more acidosis and can affect breathing. So a lot of the research papers that I have seen so far are talking about inflammation and scar tissue in the body, and this people getting COVID worse with that. So obviously having had surgery as well, and lots of inflammation and scarring, and then just had my rods taken out, it's really got me a bit, it's got me a lot more than I think it should have done. I'm very health conscious. I'm all about health and finding things that help, and herbs and organic eating, and I'm even mostly vegetarian, because I think that is less damaging and inflammatory to the body. But it just, the other thing that comes up a lot, and I haven't read any research papers on this yet, is hypermobility and long COVID. So a lot of therapists have seen people who have an instability in joints. So joint instability goes hand in hand with hypermobility. So some people, they have the arthritis. But joint instability and scoliosis are obviously really, big deals. And I think maybe some people, they have a very balanced sort of curve, from the lower body to the upper body. Maybe their breath is quite well supported. And some people, obviously, the fitter and the bigger your muscles are, the more you're able to, arm strength, for instance, is linked with, good breathing, having the capacity, a good lung capacity. So obviously not everyone with scoliosis, is going to get COVID bad or long COVID, but for sure, a lot of, like myself, because I'm hypermobile, I'm having a lot more joint instability, and like I'm not so like grounded in my body, like, and then my lungs are not so supported from the bottom up. So yeah, I mean, and a lot of my friends who got it badly are quite similar to me, you know, like, so yeah, I mean, I even know, well, most of them didn't get it like really bad, they weren't hospitalized, you know, and neither was I. But you know, I do know one girl who has a mild scoliosis, and she's had functional medicine testing, and hers is linked with mercury poisoning, and she got really bad like heart issues, and did end up in hospital, and she's actually recovered now. The good thing about all this COVID stuff is I keep hearing stories of people that are like really unwell for like a year or even two, like at most, and they're like super tired with whatever symptom they've got, and it's horrible. Like, it's just, it doesn't even feel like a natural virus to me at all. Like, it feels really foreign and alien like in my system. But yeah, like she's back to, she ran 5K at the gym the other day, like, you know, and she was in hospital like over half a year ago. So, you know, there is hope, you know, we do seem to be building up ability to fight this stuff off, and it does seem to go away over time. I mean, maybe it's not fully gone away from everyone, but for sure I've heard a lot of positive, hopeful stories, and I have heard some where some people have caught COVID bad after having a vaccine as well. So yeah, but the symptoms are all the same really, if it's COVID or for after the vaccine, or they all seem pretty similar from people I've spoke to. So I can't really comment on the vaccine because that's not really my place at all. But yeah, I mean, I think it's all happening, and it can affect people with scoliosis. So yeah, I would be interested if anyone wants to comment and talk about that, share their experience as well, like from this video, because yeah, like the biomechanics of breathing are very linked with scoliosis therapies and exercises. So and this is where I've got particularly into somatics and some of the PRI stuff, because I know embryologically that our lungs grow from our bowels, and our limbs, we have limb buds, but as the lungs grow on top of the bowels from the bottom up, the arms and legs grow as well. So exercises that are like closed chain, like using the arms and legs, like pushing the feet against the floor and fixing it, or the hands on a wall bar and fixing it, these sort of things, while doing the breath work and the neuromuscular exercise, are going to help your breathing loads. But also, most people, from what I've heard, who get the COVID problems are more in a hyperventilating state. So they're more like over tense, and breathing, you know, obviously we all know people, you know, always saying that people are breathing too high up, you know. So definitely the grounding and getting into the pelvis and the feet and the connection to the earth and supporting the lungs from the bottom up is what has helped me most, as well as a detox, you know, as well as like I have found particular supplements that have helped me detox. Some like, I mean, I love tree medicine, so I've had some of my willow bark and the silver birch tree I've found particularly helpful. But also lots of green powders, zeolites. I tried the charcoal, activated charcoal at one point. I've had NAC, and like clay powders rubbing on my skin and the scars. And someone recommended MSM recently, which is a sulfur, like NAC, it's like another sulfur sort of powder or salt. I've been having lots of salt baths as well, with magnesium in and all sorts of minerals. So there's been lots of things that I have found supplement wise, and then really trying to just get the organic foods and not the other stuff. And nano silver as well when things got things were at their worst, because I was having to have my rods out, and having chronic infections like that. That helped for some reason as well. All this nano stuff, like, but I don't recommend nano silver long term, or having too much of it. Definitely not really good for, not healthy, but it seemed to clear something out from my system, related to COVID or the vaccine or something. So yeah, it seems to be something that can affect people with scoliosis, and I would be interested, like, I know a lot of people probably don't want to share whether they've got long COVID or not. Obviously it's probably a bit taboo, so I understand if people don't comment or share, but yeah, it would be good to know whether people think it is that common in scoliosis in general in the population, or whether it's more common in people who are fused, who've had the surgery or not. Because I found that my lung capacity and my breathing was more restricted when I had the rods in. Like, it was gripping everything, making everything tighter and stiffer. So yeah, and I was unable to relax, and ground myself. So yeah, for me, things are getting better after having the rods out. But yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else COVID and scoliosis related. Not really sure. There's probably other things that I have tried that helped. But yeah, just wanted to share, really, and send peace and prayer out to anyone, maybe, if anyone wants to connect who's gone through something similar, because yeah, it can be very frightening when you feel like you're not fully in and grounded in your body, and then your lungs are not fully supported, and you can't, like, you some people having neurological symptoms with it, and getting severe brain fog and problems. So yeah, just thought I'd reach out and share. Oh yeah, the hummingbird, that was one thing that come to me. Yeah, I've seen a webinar recently where vibration and humming help relax the blood vessels and help the proprioception through the body, is very good for long COVID. So doing gentle, like, oscillating vibrations, like on massaging, on parts of the body, getting someone else to do it gently, and like humming into the body, is going to help ground and relax the blood, dilate the blood vessels. It produces more nitric oxide in the body. So yeah, like, all these like calm and gentle things really probably, have helped the most, like, pushing through and just trying to stay strong and, eat well. Like, just that alone hasn't been enough for me. So yeah, the hummingbird was like a beautiful animal that I sort of had dreams or visions of at one point when I was unwell. Drew a picture of, and sort of, yeah, like, inspired some of the therapeutic modalities that have helped, along with I use a lot of like temperature stuff as well, like heat, with the vibration, but also cold, so sort of alternating between hot and cold therapies for some reason. So yeah, the vibration and the temperature seemed to link in well. And yeah, I'm sure there's other things that have come to me, but I could just talk on and on, and it might be personal to just me and not for everyone. But this humming stuff and vibration, is something that therapists are using with lots of people, and it is helping lots of people with the symptoms of COVID. So yeah, I mean, obviously some things you'll try will just be right for you and for your specific, pre-existing health issues, and that's going to help you fight off COVID. But other things seem quite a bit more universal. So yeah, definitely some of the supplements I've mentioned, I've met a lot of other people who have been drawn to take the same sort of ones, or wrote poetry or drawn pictures of these sort of things. So yeah, okay, over and out, and say hello to Lulu. Hello, Lulu. Oh, yeah, I hope everyone is coping well and is not feeling alone and like they're not able to speak about things. All right, bye.